Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Thanks, one of you. Ham Ram, Mr. One. Let's go. Yeah, sure, let's see what it is.
Different accents.
Excuse me, burped. I asked a question. That comment was a comment on my reaction to World Graphics when the British burned down the White House. Thanks, guys. Video. And I wondered... I thought of it when they brought up impressment, which was where the British would sometimes, like, pull over American ships, if you would. I don't know what it's called, the nautical term. And take some American sailors and make them work on the British ship. And I realized, oh, that's got to be easier and harder to differentiate who's American and who's British, because they likely talked much more similarly, is that a word? Than Brits and Americans do today, obviously. So I wondered when that kind of phased into two completely different accents.
I'm a science reporter, and it's my job to report facts. So here's a fact. British people talk funny. There are a lot of differences between an American and a British accent, and lots of differences between different British accents. But the most obvious different aspect of British speech is that British speech isn't rhotic. What does that mean?
Got it.
Rhotic accents, including nearly all American accents.
Nearly, except the classic New England accent, which I don't really have. A car. Oh my god, it sounds so much worse. You know how if a British person said car, they'd say a car? And a very New Englandy person would say a car? Where's my car? Or something like that. You know, so the both British accents and stereotypical New England accents are non-rhotic, but they still sound very different.
Involve pronouncing the R sound in words like hard and winter. Non-rhotic accents do not. An American would say, it's been a hard winter, but a British person might say, it's been a hard winter. Don't like my British accent? Oh well, I told you I was a science reporter, not an actor. It turns out that modern Americans are actually closer to old-timey Brits in this respect. Back in the 18th century, almost all British accents were rhotic as well. But at a certain point, the British upper class started cultivating a distinct, wealthy person's accent to distinguish themselves from the common people, and their new accent dropped R's. It wasn't rhotic. Eventually, most of the rest of British society followed along. So if you're ever wondering why the Brits talk so weird, blame the rich. Different accents, just another one of life's little mysteries.
So like I said, the New England accent is non-rhotic, but I think it sounds much worse than the British accent. Like, I think the New England accent is pretty awful. Yeah, it's interesting, and in an evolutionary way. So this gives us a cool insight into how languages splinter into different ones, right? Like how Latin turned into different ones, where people who spoke Latin settled in certain areas and then conversed mainly with people in that certain area. And so Latin turned into something over here and something else, you know, Italian over here, French over here, Spanish over here, whatnot. And it's cool because it kind of reminds me how I think evolution to work, in that one species goes to an area, part of the species is separated from the two parts of the species separate in some ways, some go somewhere else, and then they lose contact with one another, and then they're not on the same evolutionary track anymore, just like languages aren't on the same track anymore when they go to different places. Really interesting. So yeah, it's not only the non-rhotic, is that how he said? R's, but a New Englander would do with the A, and the British eh. Hope you guys are doing well. I know that was a really short video. I just saw it in the comments, and I wanted to react to it quick. See you guys next time. Bye.